Welcome back, everyone, to the front line with Joe and Joe Pasillo and Joe Rossinello. And once more, let us go into the breach. Joe, I feel very sorry for this woman. I do. Okay, because aside from anything you would see appearance-wise, I'm not talking about that. This woman is delusional. All right, and I want to play the clip because I really love your comments.
As the chair of the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance and a co-founder of the Campaign for Size Freedom, I am so thrilled at the example that New York City is setting today. We all know, y'all know, New York is the global city. And this will ripple across the globe in terms of showing to people all over the world that discrimination against people based on their body size is wrong and is something that we can change. We can't legislate attitudes, but we can do everything that's in our power to ensure that people are treated equally and that people have equal opportunity under the law. So thank you, everyone who worked on this bill and everyone who supports this work across the country and all over the world.
Joe, listen, there are anti-discrimination laws in America. This woman cannot be discriminated against for employment, except when that employment it requires her to do a job she's physically incapable of doing.
Is that what this is about? Like she's saying,
it's got to be about that. First of all, fat acceptability. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that is either. That's
I have
insane.
no idea. And then what'd she say? She said something like size freedom. Joe, here's real quick. Where do they get these effing words that they use? I don't understand where they get these words. Do they pull them out of the Marxist playbook? The fat acceptance group or the size freedom. Here's my larger point. They can't be discriminated against. What is she going to do? Now, let me ask you this under this law. Now, these are questions, Joe. I don't know. They're celebrating some law in New York that got passed that fat people can't be discriminated against. You already can't be discriminated against because of your size if you want to be a normal job. But are they going to extend this to policemen? Are they going to extend this to being a firefighter or an EMT? Because she can't do those jobs. She could say she's free, Joe, all she wants. And I could say I accept her. She wants fat acceptance. I accept her fatness, okay? But no, Joe, she can't run down the street if somebody is assaulting me. She can't run down the street because she's physically incapable of doing so. And if she does run down the street, she's going to hurt herself. Joe, help me here, Joe.
Well,
help me, please.
I've never heard of someone who was heavy being discriminated against in my life. That's number one, ever.
Right.
But clearly, this is playing to their demographic. They're trying to, again, appeal to we don't discriminate. We love all types of women. It's a vote. They're trying to garner from this. It's a statement. There is no such thing as being overweight and you are discriminated against. I've never in my professional career ever heard of anything like that.
Right.
Ever. Never. Never. In any conversation with any person I've ever met. Never. But again, it's what they're trying to garner from it. It's a statement. As far as your point, yes, there's certain jobs that you can't do. To be honest with you.
Well, Joe, I can't go to work for NASA.
Well, but just that requires some type of physical fitness. We'll just use that as the way to couch it. To be a police officer, to be in the Army. We'll just use the Army as an example. Every year in the Army, you have to pass a physical fitness test, running, strength, because it's required. If you can't do it, whether you're a male or a female, you can't be in the Army. So, I mean, if that's the angle they're going on, well, that's a bad precedent, and that'll hurt America in general. But as far as discrimination against anyone who's heavy, never heard of it. To be honest with you, all this is nothing more than a carrot, basically trying to make a statement to garner a vote, and it's completely a waste of time.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. That's the annoying part. But that's why I say I feel sorry for her. Because people like this, Joe, whether it's her, whether it's Dylan Mulvaney, all right, whether it's others out there, Leah Thomas, they don't realize just how used they're being. You know who looks at this woman as fat? Not you. not me. Now, obviously, she's overweight. I don't look at her as a fat woman. She's a woman. Hey, listen, I've been heavy my whole life. That would be like somebody come up to me and say, just looks at me as a fat person. Don't look at me any other way. Husband, father, Catholic, whatever, means nothing. He's just the fat guy. I don't look at her that way. But she wants to be seen that way. She wants to be on that stage. She wants all those virtue signaling politicians and social workers in New York to say, isn't she just so beautiful? That's all they want to say. She's not being discriminated against. She's being used as a tool. Same way as Dylan Mulvaney, same way as Leah Thomas, and all these others out there. That's all this is to try to shame people like us for doing what? I didn't do anything to this woman. You didn't do anything to this woman.
I don't think anybody, Joe, there's, like I said, I've been in the workforce for 30 years. I've never heard of people being discriminated against because they're heavy in anything, ever,
Right.
never. It's just, like I said, it is virtue signaling, and it's what they're basically, their platform. This is completely ridiculous. Another ridiculous thing, sadly.
Well, listen, we live in an era of ridiculousness. And guess what?
True.
The center, along the lines of what she said, the center of that ridiculousness is New York City, because that's exactly where she's speaking in this clip. So we're going to leave it there. Thanks for joining us at the Frontline with Joe and Joe. Stick around for a lot more great content.